Muffin is my lovers. There's nothing like chilling with my girl.
It's your girl April, and what's up divas? It's your girl April, and this video is going to be a video on my foundation routine. Basically, I was asked by a few people, how do I cover up or camouflage the freckles on my face? Because they're noticeable without makeup, and they are really noticeable with makeup. However, when I do put the makeup on, they're less noticeable. You can see them, but they're not as dark. So, and if I'm taking a picture, you really can't see them at all. So I was asked from a couple people, those who have freckles and those who don't, want to know still too, how do I cover up my freckles, because they'd like to know to cover up theirs. Now I'm going to tell you something, to be honest. At first, for a very long time, I really couldn't stand my freckles. This was as a kid growing up. I got them in the first grade, and a lot of people would tease me, freckle face, you drink freckle juice, high yellow freckle face, whatever you can think of, that's what I was called. So of course I didn't like them, and I tried everything to try to fade them away, like Ambi fading cream. Didn't work. It kind of like made my skin a little bit different tones over the years. So I just realized you have to live with them and love them, and from what I've been told, they've been called beauty marks. So they're unique and they make you. So my freckles make me who I am. So in case you're wondering, this is going to be about my foundation routine. And here in Arizona, it's pretty darn hot. So yes, I still do wear my makeup, but I'm going to show you some things that I've been using. What I use, and this is not to cover them up, this is just because I want to wear my makeup. I normally start off with a moisturizer. I don't really use like skin moisturizers because they dry my skin out. And though I have oily skin, they do dry my skin out to where I'm getting patches. So dry patches. So what I found over like the past couple years that works really well for my skin, and it's actually helped with the dark circles underneath my eyes, was Cocoa Butter by Palmer's. So I've been using this for quite some time, and it really does help. It doesn't leave me sweating in the summertime. It actually helps my makeup while applying my makeup, as well as that, like I said, it kind of evened out my skin tone a lot because my eyes were really dark underneath, and I was using a lot of different products like Avon to fade the dark circles, and none of it seemed to work, but this works wonders. So this is what I use as my skin moisturizer. You can use whatever you want, to each his own, but this works really well for my skin and it doesn't dry it out. So I've taken off my makeup. I use the Walmart brand Noxzema, and this stuff, I love it. It doesn't dry my face out, but it gives it that purity, and it just looks so clean. So after I apply this, that is when I apply my cocoa butter at night. I also use this here, which is the Loreal toner. If you see like your face is clean, if you use this, there's more dirt in your pores. So this is really good for that. Whatever facial primer you want to use is fine. Right now I'm using the L'Oreal Mercier, which is the Radiant Bronze. And this was just a free sample at Sephora, and I love it. It gives my face a little tinge of bronze. I'm using the Flower Cosmetics by Drew Barrymore, which is not a heavy coverage. This is more like a light coverage, so you wouldn't need more of it. And instead of me applying more of this coverage, what I would then do is I will put a few dots of the MAC Studio Sculpt onto my skin. If I didn't use the MAC Studio Sculpt, I was using the Fashion Fair, and this stuff is really thick, so you don't need a lot of it. A flat buffer brush, which you can get these from Sedona Lace. I used that, and this is what gave me more of a full coverage. A couple of weeks ago, I went to the MAC store and I wanted some new foundation. So the young lady did ask me what type of skin do I have, was it dry or oily, and I let her know it was oily, and this is what I was using. Unfortunately, I've been using this one here for some time, and she said to me, when it's hot out, do you feel like your makeup is just wiping off? And which it does. When I was wearing this, you can see like the makeup on my face, like when I would get hot, you can perspire, you can see it, and I could just wipe it off and it would be on my hands. So this is actually for dry skin, which is the Studio Sculpt, and the color is an NW40, which I was using, which is a little bit too dark for me, but with the techniques and different blending, it worked out kind of well. However, it was kind of like melting off my skin. So for oily skin, she did recommend me this one, which is the Fix Fluid. And this one actually is a perfect color. It has worked wonderful for me for the past couple of weeks. My makeup has stayed on, and you don't see it when I'm perspiring. And this one here is in color NC42. So if you're oily skin, the Studio Fix Fluid is more for your skin type. If you have dry skin, then you can try the Studio Sculpt. This is a perfect match for me. Now what I do is I'll just apply this. I really don't need anything else, like any extra coverage. This is a full coverage foundation. I'll use my Milani pressed powder and a couple other things like my highlighting creams or concealers and things like that. It's not really what I'm trying to camouflage. I'm not trying to camouflage my freckles because I do love them. But however, that is the outcome when I finish applying my makeup. So I hope you enjoy this video. So ladies, I'm going to start off with my Palmer's Cocoa Butter. And like I said, I just use it for a moisturizer instead of like any skin moisturizer. As well as that is my Laura Mercier foundation primer, and this is like a tinted bronze, and it was a free sample from Sephora. I really like the color that it gives me. It gives me like a kind of tintish bronzed look, and I'm using my Ecco Tools brush set that I purchased from Walmart. And I'm just going to actually use my beauty blender and kind of dab that in so that the moisturizer, the primer, can kind of like get into my skin. Now with my new favorite foundation, which is the MAC. I love this foundation. It's full coverage, so I don't need anything else besides this. And opposed to that, it helps with my oily skin, so it actually has been working really well in the sunlight for me. Using my 187 brush from MAC, which is supposed to give you like that flawless airbrush look, but on top of that I'm going to be using my Sedona lace brush, which is the flat buffer brush. I swear by this brush. I have two of them by Sedona Lace, and I actually absolutely love this brush. This is what gives you like the flawless face. So if you haven't checked it out, check one out now, and I'll post the information below. My Revlon Concealer, which is age defying. This is a really great concealer. It doesn't crack. The concealer is actually really good. The consistency is awesome, and I love it, and I use it as a highlight. So I'm just going to be using my circulating brush from Coastal Scents, which is kind of like a mini dupe for the 187 from MAC. Next, I'm going to be using my Ben Nye, which is the HY1 concealer. It's like the high def concealer, and I'm only going to use a little bit because I just like the color that it gives me. It gives me a little bit brighter color than the Revlon, so I'm only going to use a little bit. I don't really use this outside or under my eyelids or anything like that, but it really is a good concealer. This is the HY Yellow, and I'll post the information below. Fashion Fair, and this is I do believe this is like espresso or teak. This is rather teak, and this is a really dark brown, and I'm just using this for my contour. And I'm using a small concealer brush, which is also an Ecco Tools brush, and this came with a set. The brush came with the set, and I'm going to actually blend that in. I'm also going to be putting it right above my Cupid's bow, and I'm using the other Ecco Tool brush, which is the buffing brush. Next, I'm going to be using my L'Oreal True Match in Cocoa along with my MAC fluffy brush, and I like this because it's also going to be used as a contour too, and it really does blend good. So if you need a good contour brush, try your fluffy blending brush from MAC. Laura Geller's Brighten and Balance. I've had this for quite some time. This is a really good powder foundation if you're light, or if you want to use it as a highlight. It's really, really good, and I use this all in the areas where I've highlighted at. And it actually, to me, works better than the Ben Nye. You know, I do use both. I go back and forth with both. I'm going to be using my e.l.f. tan bronzer, and that's just going to be used as my contour with my Sedona Lace Jumbo Fan Brush. I've had these brushes by Sedona Lace for a couple of years now, and they have not shed. They are really good brushes. Now for my Kabuki brush, which I'm using is my Milani cream. I'm using my Milani face powder. This is the Ecco Tools Kabuki brush, and I love it because it has the top over it, and you can also pick this up at Walmart as well. I'm like a huge Walmart shopper. Arbbone blush, which is in Sunset, and this is more like, for me, like a tan look. I didn't want anything too dramatic, so I'm using my Contour Tulip brush, which is also from Sedona Lace, and this is a great brush for highlighting, which I'm doing right now with my favorite highlighter, which is a hard candy highlight, which is also purchased from Walmart, and that's in the color 129 Tiki. But the Tulip brush is great for using it for highlights, putting on your blush, and things like that. I'm just going to dab into my Flowers Cosmetic with Drew Barrymore, and I'm going to use that dark brown just to give my eyes on the bottom a little depth, and my CoverGirl Ink It eyeliner in black, which is my favorite next to my Cocoa that I use on my eyebrows daily. A little bit of mascara and some of that Lip Cheek Chubby from Flowers and some Milani lipstick, and I am all through. I hope you guys enjoyed the look. Stay diva and divalicious, and I'll post all the information below. Bye.